all cluster up here so we can all hear each other. We're gonna try to get going and not test our luck with this sky here. Thank you all for coming. This is a great announcement for West Falmouth Harbor. My name's Mark Rasmussen. I'm president at the Buzzards Bay Coalition. I'm going to serve as just a very light MC here. And I want to get right to the speaking program. We're very fortunate today to have DP Commissioner Ken Kimmel here, see Representative Tim Madden, representatives from the town and the Bay Coalition who've all worked together to come up with what I believe is a really great solution for West Falmouth Harbor and for Falmouth wastewater issues overall. So to not say anything more and to jump right to the program, Commissioner Ken Kimmel of the DEP.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's pouring rain in Boston, but down here in Falmouth we still have some pretty good weather, so I appreciate that. Thank you to Town Manager Sasso, Selectman Murphy, and others for hosting, and thank you, Mark, for putting this together as well. From our point of view, the issue of excess nutrients going into the water bodies in Cape Cod is something of a ticking environmental and economic time bomb. Second to climate change and sea rise, this is the biggest threat that faces Cape Cod. And I am excited to be here today to announce a settlement that, at least in this one location, is a model for moving forward and really dealing with this problem. Here in West Falmouth Harbor, you have all experienced murky, cloudy water, algae mats, algae blooms, loss of eelgrass, declining benthic organisms, loss of fish habitat. This is a problem, of course, that we face all over Cape Cod. What's different about this situation is we have a town that has really stepped up to the plate and an environmental advocacy organization that are working together with the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection to solve this problem. Back in 2005, of course, the town stepped up to the plate in a major way, came up with a $15 million upgrade to the treatment plant, dramatically reducing the amount of nitrogen that goes into this harbor. But we did a study with EPA in 2007 that established that all of those gains are not quite enough to get us to the water quality goals that we need to get to. And so more needs to be done, and the town is moving forward to make that happen. Under the settlement that's announced today, we will build on the progress that's already been made. One element of the settlement requires the town to file a draft comprehensive wastewater management plan by the end of 2012. I want to underline the word comprehensive. I understand that the town is going to beat that deadline and will be submitting that plan well before the end of the year, and we commit at Mass DEP to give you prompt feedback on that draft submission as soon as we can, because we know there's financing issues as well. The final plan is required to be issued by the end of 2013, and most importantly, by 2016, the water quality standards that govern West Falmouth Harbor will be met. Part of the settlement also involves the town agreeing to use its best efforts to reduce nitrogen concentrations to 3 milligrams per liter, which is the best and strictest standard that anyone on the Cape has met to date. There will be monitoring of the water body. There'll be a look at alternative technologies like permeable reactive barriers, which is very important. There'll be efficiency improvements in the system, and there'll also be a responsible answer to the question of whether the treatment plant can be used to take wastewater from other parts of the town, and the settlement allows that, but puts some responsible limits on it as well to make sure that the pollution problem isn't being transferred from one place to another. I believe that in 2016 you will meet the goal of this settlement. I have every confidence in you that you will do it, and this settlement creates a very good working relationship. So I want to thank the town of Falmouth for once again stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing. And I want to thank the Coalition for Buzzards Bay. You guys do tremendous work. You advocate hard. You make people like me uncomfortable sometimes, but that's part of the job. But you also know when to push and when to make a deal. And some people don't always get that. So I appreciate Mark and Corin and others having that sense of when it's time to make that deal. I also want to thank a few people on my team who are some all-stars. Brian Dudley, who not only has a comprehensive understanding of the regulations, but he also knows a lot about how treatment plants operate, and that kind of knowledge is extremely valuable. Dave Johnston, our Deputy Regional Director, not here today, was an important part of this. John Hobel, Madeline Morris from our Office of General Counsel, who understood that settling a piece of litigation is far better than having a court battle, and Andy Cohen. And I'm also glad to see John Shea, an old friend of mine who is one of the best environmental lawyers in the Commonwealth. The town of Falmouth was wise to hire him. And I'm also happy to see Representative Madden, who's been so supportive in all of our efforts. So again, thank you. You should feel good about this settlement. This was the right thing to do, and we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you to make sure that the objectives and standards that are laid out in this settlement are met. Thank you.
See Representative Tim Madden.
Thank you all for coming out. I will be brief, as rare as that is for a politician, but the weather is going to force me to be. Commissioner Kimball, thanks a lot for coming out here. Ken, you've been a great friend of Falmouth and the entire Commonwealth, and we appreciate that. It's always scary when you hear about a lawsuit being filed, but isn't it wonderful to celebrate a settlement? So it's nice to see parties who ultimately have the same goal in mind coming together, because what we really care about is what's behind me. And I think the town does, the state does, and clearly the Coalition for Buzzards Bay does. I have to do a couple of things that people I want to single out, and I don't want to offend anyone I don't mention, but it's nice to see the Chairman of the Board, Murphy, here from Falmouth. Ken, as you know, has been a good friend to Falmouth. Former Representative Turkington is here. We also have some former select women here. And also John and Martha Ross are here. And John was one of the first people I met. And John brought this to my attention. We've been up the hill to look at the treatment plant and so forth and so on. And he's been a strong advocate for this cause, and I appreciate it. And Corinne, it's always great to see you again. We're the babies. Anyway, this is what people come to the Cape for. Just like, you know, we just did the MBTA bill up in Boston, and it was a contribution from the whole Commonwealth, because we realized how important a good transit system is to the city of Boston and to the Commonwealth, for business and for the economy that helps drive that city, which benefits all of us. The Cape does the same thing, and we do it with our water. This is our contribution to the Commonwealth. This is why people come here and spend so much money on the Cape, is because of our waters. And if we don't take care of them, just like if we don't take care of the subway system, then shame on us. And it really is going to take a contribution, not just from the town, but the state really has to step up as well financially. It's been tough times for all of us. All of us want to do the things that we know are right to do. Falmouth actually has been one of the leaders as far as stepping up to the plate. Not many towns will put the money that they've put into in town meeting just to even study these issues. So you should be very proud of what you've done. You should be proud of the settlement, and most importantly, you should be proud of the place you live. So once again, thank you for allowing me to be part of this settlement ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Madden. The town of Falmouth, an amazing leader, Bay-wide, and I want to comment on that a little bit more later on, but right now I'd like to hear from the town. So Julian, you're on? Town Administrator Julian Sosa.
Thank you, Mark. I'm joined by Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Kevin Murphy, and I really appreciate Kevin being here on behalf of the board. The board has been an important partner and a leader in this whole process, and I want to affirm that. Obviously, they, as a group, approved this very important and historic settlement. So I do want to thank the Commissioner for his remarks. A delight to have you here in the town of Falmouth. Thank you, Mark, for yours as well. It's been a great pleasure working with members of the Commissioner's DEP staff, extraordinary professionals that have been a delight to work with. Mark, you, Corin, and others in your team, it's been a pleasure as well. And it's my privilege on behalf of Kevin Murphy and other members of the Selectmen to read a brief statement that we have prepared, and then I would take a moment to thank those directly on the town's team that have been so involved. But our statement as follows. This settlement agreement is a testament to what is possible when well-intentioned people work collaboratively toward issues for the common good. The agreement recognizes the great progress the town has made in wastewater, in the treatment of wastewater at the Falmouth Wastewater Treatment Facility. The current level of 3 milligrams per liter that the Commissioner Kimmel referred to, that's 3 milligrams per liter of nitrogen, which the town has been achieving, is arguably the best of any wastewater treatment plant in the Commonwealth. The town has committed to maintaining that level of environmental quality while working to enhance it further, fully affirming the town's previous commitment to protecting West Falmouth Harbor's water quality. Importantly, it allows the town to protect the harbor through other appropriate means, while relieving the town of the obligation to sewer the West Falmouth watershed. Through the negotiation process with our respected colleagues, which led to this agreement, I believe that the Mass Department of Environmental Protection and the Buzzards Bay Coalition have come to a fuller appreciation of the town of Falmouth's level of effort and professionalism in its pursuit of the goal of restoring environmental quality to the town's many estuaries. The town has also come to recognize and appreciate that Falmouth, the Coalition, and the DEP are mutual allies in this important process of responsible environmental stewardship. And it's our pleasure to confirm that as well. I want to thank my colleagues in the administration and all of those who stepped up to assist us in this very important and sensitive negotiation process, which we have so successfully concluded. That includes Ray Jack, Frank Duffy, Jerry Patamus, Amy Lowell, Eric Turkington, John Shea, and Bill Taylor, who's not been able to be with us here today, but was an important part of our team. Again, without the efforts of all of those dedicated to staff members, volunteers, officials, etc., we would not be here today with the kind of results that we're announcing. So again, it's a great pleasure to talk about what is an incredible success story, I think a historic one as well, that affirms the great work of those in the town of Falmouth that have certainly come before me, the leadership as evidenced by Kevin Murphy and his colleagues on the Board of Selectmen, all our boards and commissions, the Water Quality Management Committee, their fine work, and the incredible management team that I'm privileged to work with here in Falmouth. So we look forward to working with the Buzzards Bay Coalition, Mark, you and your colleagues further in the days to come. Commissioner Kimmel, you and your fine staff of environmental experts at DEP in the time to come as well. So thank you all for gathering and the opportunity to respect one another, to come together amicably, and to restore this treasured environment that we are privileged to have here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julian. Just make, again, I'll also be brief, because so many great remarks today that I share what everybody has said today. Let me start from a comment as the Buzzards Bay Coalition has been involved in West Falmouth now for 25 years. So as long as we've been around, folks here in this neighborhood have called on us to help with the water quality issues here. Starting in 1992, we started water quality monitoring, that 20-year data set to help document what was happening with the harbor. The West Falmouth Boat Club, people from Bob Travis to Peter Partridge, Bill Faxon, the leaders of the boat club have drawn us in and partnered with us. I think I noticed our first letter together with the boat club was 1994, asking the town to start looking at the sewage issues in West Falmouth. It's been that long, and that was citizen-led. So taking our information we were collecting in science, cooperating with the neighborhood, and getting that information to the town and the DEP. For those of you who are here today, all that work is culminating in this permit and the amazing work that's happened. It's taken that long. I particularly want to recognize John Ross. Tim Madden was right to mention John. John's the first person who brought West Falmouth to the coalition as an area in great need. I mean, we look out for 30 harbors and coves around the region, but I often joke to people that it's West Falmouth water that runs in the coalition's veins, and that's because John Ross helped put it there. So thank you, John. I want to a little bit. The wastewater treatment plant investment back a few years ago, $15 million, was an amazing accomplishment from the town, and one that's not celebrated enough in the current wastewater debate here in Falmouth. I hope this settlement helps celebrate that a little bit more. 3 milligrams per liter is the lead standard in the region. Wareham is achieving 4 milligrams per liter right behind you, but you are setting an example Cape-wide, but also throughout Buzzards Bay, and it's a very important step the town took out in front of other communities. What wasn't in place before with that wastewater treatment plant upgrade was an enforceable cap on that amount of nitrogen, a cap on the volume of discharge that could be discharged to this harbor, and a clear plan for how those two things, a new plant, a cap on nitrogen, and a tight nitrogen limit, all work together to bring restoration back to this water quality. And that's what this permit puts in place. Building the plant wasn't enough. The limits in this permit were the other piece that had to happen, and now have happened. I want to thank the town for, we work with 17 communities, and by far Buzzards Bay would be in much better shape today if we had more towns of the capacity and the commitment that we have in Falmouth. From the professional staff here, Jerry Patamus, Amy Lowell, Ray Jack, Julian, the whole team that worked on this from a town hall perspective were amazing to work with. The volunteer leadership, Eric Turkington, Virginia, the quality of the people who work on town boards on these issues in Falmouth is unprecedented in other communities, and I really want to recognize that. On the DEP side, the commissioner mentioned a number of people on his staff, but the fact that the commissioner's here on a Friday morning is just another example of the attention that
I should confess I have a summer house on the Cape.
That's good. That's even better.
Friday is great timing for me.
There has not been a DEP commissioner who has done more to recognize this problem, this nitrogen pollution problem on Cape Cod, and what it means to this entire peninsula and this entire region than Ken Kimmel. He puts his people, he mentioned that sometimes we make life uncomfortable. I'm looking back at Gary Moran. Mostly we make Gary Moran's life uncomfortable. Thank you, Gary, for being here. Brian Dudley, thank you, Brian, for all your work day to day on these nitrogen issues. Madeline Morris and Andy Cohen in the council's office were very, very helpful in crafting this settlement. As Ken said, holding the line, making sure that this plant meets the TMDL, but doing it in a way that gives the flexibility needed for a town to deal with what is, clearly a massive political and financial challenge for towns to be dealing with here. I want to close by the fact that we are settling a lawsuit today, I hope is not lost on people throughout the Cape as they hear about this. There is a larger federal suit that we're involved with, the Conservation Law Foundation, trying to raise these same issues to the federal level and get EPA involved. What happened here today needs to happen dozens and hundreds of more times throughout Cape Cod. We are together, a community, citizens, state officials, settling the issues around one discharge. This is one of 64 similar groundwater discharges of this scale across Cape Cod. One. This is 500,000 gallons of flow. There's a lot more work to do. I would be remiss if I didn't note and recognize who is not here at this event today, and that's the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. They are still not paying attention to these issues on Cape Cod. We need their attention, we need their resources, we need their focus on these issues in the way that the state DEP is now focused on solving these issues. This is the constructive way to do this. Litigation is not the way to solve these problems. This is the way to solve these problems. And we need the Environmental Protection Agency on Cape Cod doing the same work that we're seeing the DEP stepping up and doing here today. So, thank you. So with that, we are, I think, available for questions if anybody has them. But from here on, this is the launch of a great new day here. Now let me just lastly say next steps. We have a lot of work to monitor this agreement over time. We're going to be working very closely with the town to continue to track water quality monitoring, to meet all the deadlines that are in this report. It's often easy to say, okay, we just finished something, it's time to move on. This actually just launches a whole new phase of work, and I'm very excited to do that work together with the town and the DEP. So thank you all for being here. Oh, I already see you. Oh, yeah.
As a long-time coalition member and resident of the harbor area who's done water sampling from back even before the water treatment plant went in, I'm glad to hear the good words. I'm always a little concerned when I hear the words best effort, and I guess I'm wondering to what extent, how best is the effort going to be towards reaching and maintaining, particularly maintaining the 0.3 regulation. Would anyone care to comment on that?
Jerry really doesn't want me to answer this question.
I'll give it a crack. You know, in my former life, before I became DEP commissioner, I was a lawyer, and lawyers haggled over endlessly what the term best effort means. And it's contrasted to reasonable efforts. It's kind of it's a term that means you go above and beyond, and you really explore every alternative. You turn over every stone. You evaluate all the options, and you really try your very, very best to meet that standard. So it's not exactly the same thing as a guarantee, but it's more than just we'll take a look and see if we want to do it. I take it as an 80% commitment to getting that limit done, with some wiggle room if it can't be done. But again, I have every confidence that the town fully intends to meet that limit, and you know, that best efforts language is meaningful.
I'd rather hear 90%.
It could be. It's an arbitrary number. The point is, it's something that is going to require a lot of focus and attention and a lot of effort to meet. And if it's not met, there's going to have to be a very good reason why not.
Does the 3 milligrams continue to be an average? How does that work?
Yeah.
It's
an annual
over
average.
the year.
Yes.
And this is a reduction in the flow from the original permit of 200,000. What is that still existing, and where does that go?
And you guys, it is. So this permit leaves the town with a lot of additional treatment capacity at the treatment plant, and the need for a new place to put it. And so the challenge going forward is, where do we find discharge locations that aren't this? We know this harbor can't handle it, and this permit makes sure that it doesn't go here, but it has to go somewhere. And as the next challenge for the town, and one that we're very eager to work with the town on, is finding the appropriate place for the rest of that investment. That's a $1.2 million investment in that treatment plant. You want to be able to use that treatment plant. The challenge is, where do you put it? Is that, I'm speaking for the town a lot there. But.
Well said. Well said.
But we
Well
don't know
said.
yet. That's just what I want to make clear. There's nothing like a estimate or an idea of where it might go. We don't know yet.
That's a work in progress.
Just want to clarify something I heard in the remarks today. Is there no plans at all to sewer West Falmouth anymore?
We can figure out who can answer what, but
This agreement just affirms that there is no requirement to sewer West Falmouth Harbor. That will, the final decisions on that issue, and many others, are involved with our comprehensive wastewater treatment plan, which is underway with Eric and Virginia and their fine work on their committee. It'll ultimately be coming to the Board of Selectmen, but there is no requirement to do so. So the good news is the town can make an appropriately informed decision about what is the best combination of approaches to achieve the result that we're all committed to.
Time to go boating.
it is. And we dodged. We just missed the rain. So thank you all for being here.
Thanks, everybody.